What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So this is a reminder that Steven Jackson needs to grow up. The man is a man child. The man is super childish, and I should have known he was childish when he came to my hometown of Chicago, Illinois, checking in with some little bitty boys, some little boys in O Block, checking in with some kids out there and posting it like that was something cool to be checking in with some little shorties. It's ridiculous. And it's a ridiculous, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a ridiculous notion to think that, oh, if I check in with these young little kids, I'm going to be protected. Anything can happen to anybody, right? So let's get to the subject at hand. So Mike Epps came on to the All the Smoke podcast. The episode just dropped today, probably like an hour ago. And Matt Barnes opens up the interview addressing Mike Epps' situation that he had with Shannon Sharpe and how, luckily everything got smoothed over. He glad everything could be hashed out and they talk like men, right? And so Mike Epps goes through the whole situation about what happened, and he admitted to being wrong and going overboard at times, right? Even though he's in the business of telling jokes and he gets in the mix of telling jokes, sometimes he can go a little far, right? And so when he's admitting to those wrongs, here comes Steven Jackson. But why get mad if they just jokes, though? Why get mad if they just jokes, right? Why get mad if they just jokes? He said, if you get mad because they just jokes, to me, that means it's a little truth in it. That's how I see it. That means it's some truth in them jokes. That's how I see it. If you get mad at jokes, right? And when he's saying there's some truth in them jokes, he's saying that it gotta be that Shannon must be gay or something like that, right? Because that was a joke that Mike Epps was making on Shannon. Oh, Club Shay Shay, what type of man named his podcast that calling? He was calling Shannon Sharpe gay. And here comes Stack. Steven Jackson, you only get mad if it's some truth to them jokes. That's how I see it. That's how I see it, right? And see, this is crazy. This is how stuff get way out of pocket, right? What do you mean why get mad if they just jokes? Because there's some stuff that you don't play about. There is some stuff that you don't make jokes about. It's some stuff that ain't funny at all, right? One thing you don't make jokes about is a man's sexuality. Another thing you don't make jokes about is a man being unalived unjustly by law enforcement, right? Like George Floyd was. And I'm using George Floyd because for Steven Jackson to say, why get mad if they just jokes? He sure didn't think they was just jokes when David Lucas made those jokes about George Floyd being killed by law enforcement. He didn't think it was jokes then because it wasn't funny. That's why it wasn't funny. It wasn't something to be made fun about. Now, I know some people are going to say these are apples and oranges. One is a man's sexuality and one is a person being killed by law enforcement, right? But y'all know, heterosexual men don't be playing about them jokes about their sexuality and all that type of stuff too. My point is, I'm making the correlation that some things you don't play about. They're things you don't play about. And Steven Jackson, rightfully so, wanted to stand on business about David Lucas making them jokes about his friend George Floyd. And I understand it, and I'm with him on that, right? But my thing is, you can't use that whole thing, that notion that why get mad if they just jokes. Like I said, because some things are not funny. They're not funny. It was those jokes about George Floyd, definitely not funny. And to some of the other people in the world, them jokes about Shannon Sharpe could have been funny. But to him, it was not funny because you ain't playing with my sexuality. You couldn't play with me like that and think I'm going to laugh that off. I'm just not. And I'm sure Steven Jackson knows if somebody made fun of his sexuality and called him gay, he would be ready to snap too. He can do all that. He can do all, acting like they just jokes. He can talk all that all he wants to. He knew he would have been the first one ready to turn into the Incredible Hulk if somebody questioned his sexuality and talk like Mike Epps was talking about Shannon Sharpe. Let's be for real. I don't know what Steven Jackson got up with Shannon Sharpe. I don't know what issue he got with him. But to me, it's quite corny considering the fact that in the inception of All the Smoke, when All the Smoke first was getting started during the pandemic, Shannon Sharpe gave them one of their first big time interviews. And matter of fact, to this day, I think their interview with Shannon Sharpe is their most viewed video of all time. They got like 9 million views on that Shannon Sharpe interview, 8 or 9 million views, which is their most viewed video. So I don't understand where this hate coming from. The man came on y'all show, helped to blow y'all stuff up. Not saying that their show wasn't dope, because it's dope. I'm not saying he the only reason why that their show had got traction or got motion. They got motion because they got a good podcast. But what I'm saying is, I don't understand what his issue with Shannon Sharpe is. It make no sense to me. It make no sense. And then after Mike Epps is in the middle of apologizing and admitting that he's wrong, Steven Jackson told, I wouldn't apologize. I wouldn't have apologized and all that. Well, you only get mad when there's some truth to them jokes. So now you trying to say you think Shannon Sharpe gay. See, Steven Jackson, he the type of man to start a war back up when everything has died down, right? And then when the war start back up because of his doing, he want to throw his hands up and look confused when casualties start to happen. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's going to go that far, but I'm making an analogy. Steven Jackson is the type of man to start a war back up when everything has died down and then throw his hands up looking confused when casualties of war start to happen. You see what I'm saying? Start match just trying to, like, bro, relax. You got to grow up, dog. You got to grow up. That man came on y'all platform admitting to his wrongs and all of that. Leave it at that. Trying to throw these little shots in between, I don't understand where is that coming from. Is it because Shannon Sharpe is a fan of LeBron James and you like to throw shots at LeBron James or whatever? Shannon Sharpe never threw no slight at Steven Jackson for dissing LeBron James and nothing like that. He just a LeBron James fan. But Steven Jackson been trying to nitpick at Shannon's fandom of LeBron James for a while, even in places where it doesn't belong, like when he got into it with Dylan Brooks now at the Memphis Grizzlies game. I'm talking about Shannon Sharpe did, right? He tried to make it like he ready to fight for LeBron. He wasn't trying to fight for LeBron James. He was fighting because the men, he was snapping because the men started cursing at him. And Dylan Brooks told him, F you and all that, right? After he was like, after he cheering during the game, right? And so they had a back and forth. It wasn't, cause LeBron James, you ready to fight for LeBron? No, he felt like a man disrespecting him. You know what I mean? And he said something back. And he started saying, and the other players on the team said something too, and he started returning insults to the other people. It wasn't, I'm ready to fight for LeBron. Like, get out of here. But Steven Jackson tried to flip it like he fighting for LeBron because he really don't like Shannon's fandom of LeBron James, because I believe that Steven Jackson got an issue with LeBron somewhere, somehow, right? But at the end of the day, he needs to let all that stuff go. Or and because his anger, his frustration, his anger with Shannon Sharpe, it feels displaced. It feels like, bro, what are you mad about? What are you mad at him for? And Shannon Sharpe know that he be throwing shots at him. One time he was about to say it. He said, here's a guy, every time I say something, and he stopped. He said, you know what? I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let it go. He talking about Steven Jackson, because Steven Jackson he always trying to come at Shannon. And again, Steven Jackson, sometimes I be on his side with certain things and certain topics and certain situations, but then he be trying to be street and a certified goon sometimes in situations that's not necessary, and want to prove that he's straight up street and real all the time. And then 1 minute he want to be, and again, I get it. Everybody have different sides. Nobody is one way all the time. And I completely agree with that notion that no one is one way all the time. We all have different sides. There are different facets to our personalities, etc., right? But sometimes I feel like his image gets crazy, because at one point you're trying to show the youth a better way. That's what he say he's trying to do. And then 1 minute you're trying to be on some goon stuff and all that, and not trying to be the bigger man. I wouldn't apologize to him. I wouldn't have apologized. You only get mad if it's some truth to some of them jokes and all that. You being petty now. First, you're trying to show the kids to rise above pettiness. You say you're trying to do that. And now you're trying to be real petty and trying to be real immature. Like, come on, man. What are you trying to teach the kids for real? What are you trying to teach the kids? Because that Shannon Sharpe ain't say nothing about you or come at you crazy. You the one start shooting shots at him, So I don't know, man. It just kills me. And again, I don't understand where it's coming from, because the brother helped their platform to, when COVID first began. I remember the day that Shannon Sharpe interview dropped was the day that I was going to my the first doctor's appointment for my son. You know what I mean? Where he was still in the belly, going to the first doctor's appointment for him. And I remember, this is right when COVID first hit. Shannon Sharpe gave him a great interview, and again, it went crazy, did mega numbers. Why are you trying to throw shots at a man that help your platform boom? I don't get that, because you don't like that he like LeBron James and you got something with LeBron. You need to talk to LeBron about that then, dog. talk to or go talk to Rich Paul, one of them. They ain't hard for you to get in touch with. I'm sure they not. So yeah, it's crazy. But Stack is, again, he's a man that'll start up a war after it didn't calm down, and almost he trying to incite Mike Epps to say, I shouldn't have. You right, I shouldn't apologize. You right, I shouldn't have done that. You right, he should have just took it like it was a joke. Almost trying to lean Mike Epps towards to recant from apologizing, or trying to make Mike Epps feel like, oh, you wasn't in the wrong. Hey, he shouldn't have took it personal. It's truth to them jokes. Kind of like trying to lean Mike Epps into cracking on Shannon again and say, oh yeah, you right. It probably is some truth to them jokes. Trying to be immature to start some mess back up. And see, this is how brothers, and this is how stuff go wrong amongst our community. When brothers start, that's how brothers start, ignorant stuff happen. Because there's always one brother wanting the ignorance to keep stirring up for his entertainment, or because he got a personal vendetta with that person along the line somewhere. You know what I mean? And most of the time the vendetta is baseless. But anyway, man, Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button too.